Welcome, sports fans. Thanks for joining us. It's the NBA on 2K Sports. I'm Kevin Harlan along with Tim Legler and Greg Anthony. And our reporter on the sideline tonight, Allie LaForce. A moment now to look at the year-to-year scoring output and how it has been trending for Jason Tatum.
And you can never fully predict these long-term trends, but it's apparent that the production has been on the decline here a bit. That doesn't mean it will stay that way. And look, so many ways he can impact the team as well. Not always just about the scoring.
Let's check out Toronto's starting lineup. Perimeter pairing, Barrett and Ingram. The post pairing, Barnes playing alongside Pirtle. And it's quickly in at the point. And for Boston, Pritchard and White are their guards. Dynamic duo of Brown and Tatum at the 3 and the 4. And it's Vucevic in at the center position. What a matchup we have tonight, Greg, in the front court. I know everyone, you and I included, have been waiting for this one.
And when you got two of the best bigs in the league going at it tonight, it's must-see TV. I can't wait to call this one, guys.
Pritchard feeling it out a bit to the paint. Got a piece of it. Last game for the Celtics, it was a loss to the Nuggets. Charity stripe shot. And a kind roll that time off the rim as that one falls. Ingram's got the opening basket of the game for the Raptors. White, good.
Uncovered at the rim, finding cracks in the defense here early on.
Well, with that kind of success, I imagine they'll continue to be aggressive inside.
Quickly. And Tatum pulls it down. And so it's Pritchard who brings the ball up for the Celtics. And last season, Vince Carter became the first player ever to have his jersey retired, Tim, by the Raptors.
So well deserved. And look, prime Vince Carter is exactly the kind of player Toronto is still looking for. A 3-level elite scorer.
Toronto, they've gone 1 of 3 from the field to start this one so far. Barrett with the ball. He's picked up by White. Ingram kicks to Barrett. Slammed home, and he draws the foul. A chance for another point at the free throw line. That one on Vucevic.
And Barrett's showing you some toughness there. He's able to absorb the contact and still convert.
The Raptors shooting their first free throw of the night.
Not really where you'd like to be as a team in terms of free throw shooting, just about 73%.
And that one falls for Barrett. You know, Tim, we see a lot of talented wings in this NBA. Where does R.J. Barrett separate himself?
Well, he's very difficult when he puts it on the deck, Kevin. He's got some moves, and he's got an array of finishes, both the layup package, or he can pound it on your head. If you give Ingram a shot that close to the rim, he's just flat out not going to miss it.
Tatum with the screen on quickly. Pritchard passes to Tatum. It's hauled in by the Raptors. They defeated Charlotte in their last game.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to their defense in that one. The intensity, the shot blocking, just a dominant performance.
I just thought they looked focused all night long. At no point did they relax or take their foot off the gas.
Come on. The Raptors have gotten 4 of 6 field goal attempts to drop in the first quarter. And he gets it to go.
They've wasted no time settling into their offense.
First quarter of basketball, just over 2.5 minutes play. Vucevic setting the pick for Tatum. It's good from long range. Tatum's got 5.
You expect Tatum to be around that 40% mark from deep. Very reliable from 3.
Barrett picks to quickly. Lob pass to Barrett. Pass to Barnes. That's good, and it's Ingram with the assist.
And it just seems that every pass they make is leading to a score. Just great ball movement.
And so the timeout by Joe Mazzulla here. He's going to take a minute here to get things straightened out. Some changes for Boston. Sam Hauser's checked in for White, and it's Payne in for Pritchard. .153 left here in the first quarter. Tatum looking around. Pass to Vucevic. Good, and it's Tatum picking up the assist.
Always a battle when you're up against Vucevic. His soft touch helps him convert inside.
And now let's send it over to our courtside reporter, Allie LaForce.
I caught up with Coach Joe Mazzulla.
I asked him about Brandon Ingram and the challenges that he presents, and he said to me he is a tremendous scorer with impressive range. Not only that, he's extremely clever at creating scoring opportunities for himself. We got to crowd his space whenever we can. We'll see how aggressive the defense is against him tonight. Guys, back to you.
All right, Allie, thank you for that. Pass to Walter. There's 53 seconds left to play in the first quarter. 6 to shoot. Here's Murray Boyle. Hauser defending. And here's Tatum. He'll bring it up for the Boston Celtics. They trail by 1. They're moving on after the tough loss they took at the hands of the Nuggets.
A game they definitely felt they could win, and with a break here or there, they probably could have.
Yeah, these games come down to making big plays in big spots, and they just didn't make enough of those.
Take a break. 2 shots.
That one drops. He ties it up. He makes 1 of 2 that time.
Well, they had a chance to take the lead, but at least he tied it up.
To the left wing. Toronto working the ball around now. Pass to Shed. Barnes the screen. Shoots over Hauser, and that one's good. Barnes. Barnes has got 6 points.
And Barnes is starting to look so confident on these mid-range games. It looks like he thinks he can score from there anytime he wants.
Yeah, another nice bucket down low. They've really been able to work the ball into the post effectively here so far.
It's the end of the first with a tie game here, and already these offenses are clicking. And we'll get things started in the second quarter when we return. Getting going again here in the second quarter. Fairly close game so far. And the Celtics guys, what jumps out to you stats-wise?
Well, they've been aggressive from the beginning, particularly on the offensive end.
I love how they're playing. When you combine great effort and great execution, it leads to great results.
So, Tim, when you look at what wins in this NBA, many say the heyday of the super team has come and gone. Why is that?
Well, I believe the new collective bargaining agreement has made it awfully difficult for teams to pay 3 stars and also fill out their roster with complementary role players.
So what's the answer? How do teams build?
I think the answer Oklahoma City has captured. You have to have great chemistry, certainly a star at the top, and then guys that understand the pecking order of that team. I think that's how you get it done and build around defense.
Great example. So the Raptors 5 right now. They've got Grady Dick. He's out there with Barnes. And it's Walter in at the 2 guard. They They set the pick. Down low. Here's Queta. And he uses the glass on the layup. Queta's got his second bucket.
Yeah, that's the third bucket in a row from the paint. This defense needs to clog those lanes in the middle.
Pass to Barnes. Garza pulls it in.
Well, the defense was solid right there, but that's just a missed opportunity at the rim.
Right wing. Inside. Here's Pritchard. 5 on the clock. Beyond the arc. It's rebounded by Scotty Barnes. Toronto trailing. Pass to Shed. Pritchard against Dick. Here's Murray Boyd. And the three ball is good.
That's a breakdown defensively. He is far too good of a shooter to leave that wide open.
And so the timeout by Joe Mazzulla here. He's going to make some adjustments to the game plan. And the Raptors making a change here. Now let's go to the 2K leaderboard. These teams have been training everything they've put up this month. Number 1, the Celtics. The Raptors in second.
And this is the kind of shooting these teams would love to have all season long. I mean, they've both been on a tear here of late.
And so it's Pritchard with it. He'll bring it up for the Boston Celtics. They trail by 1. Pass to Queta. Nice ball movement by Boston. Over in the corner, Brown. Fires from the wing. And good. Got the friendly bounce off the right side of the rim. Brown's got 7 points in the game. Raptors have gone 2 of 3 from the field here to open the second quarter. When it comes to Jaylen Brown, Greg, what qualities does he add to a team?
Well, I love how active and physical he is. He poses such a difficult challenge on both sides of the ball. With a Finals MVP award to his credit, you know he's as mentally tough as anyone in our league.
White up top. Right now averaging about 5 points a game.
Nice.
Down the shot, and now a three-point play chance.
Could be
as he'll head
N1.
to the line.
And defensively, they are on their heels every time the ball comes inside.
And he's got his first chance at the line here. And some changes here for the Raptors. Mamu Kelishvili is checked in. And it's Brandon Ingram in for Grady Dick.
One shot.
When your team is looking at a back-to-back, how do you approach the first game of the 2, Tim?
Well, I think you may go to your bench a little bit more early. Lengthen your rotation, especially if the game isn't all that close. You're not going to see any starters play heavy minutes in that situation.
Are you thinking as a coach we have a better chance against this team than that team? Does it ever enter that kind of conversation?
It definitely does, but it can also be a dangerous approach if you think there's a particular matchup that doesn't favor you in some way. Well, he was cold in that first quarter. Now it's great to see him flip that switch and start getting hot here.
Outside, Barrett. Pass to Mamu Kelishvili. Good for the basket. Starting off 1 for 1 with that shot.
Well, they're trying to take command of this game, but it's been competitive so far.
We see this in the NBA all the time. It is very difficult to keep a lead in this league.
And it's good, 2 points. Well, guys, this first half has been about as tightly contested as you could hope for.
There have been a lot of lead changes. My goodness.
Toronto, they've gone 5 of 6 so far from the field in the second quarter. Ingram against Brown. Over to the left wing. To the inside. Here's Garza. That one falls.
Nice.
And one area where they've improved here in the second quarter is getting the ball in in the paint. That inside scoring has gotten much stronger.
And this is his second trip to the line tonight. Jason Tatum, he's checked in for the Celtics.
One shot.
At the line, shooting one.
All right.
And so here's Toronto. 4-point game. They host the 76ers after this time. That game marks the first half of a quick 2-game homestand. Celtics have gotten nearly everything to fall for them here in the second quarter. They're a great 7 of 8 from the floor. To the middle. Here's Garza. Well-timed pass, and he goes straight to the bucket for the layup. Garza's got the lead up to 6 now for the Celtics. And here's Ingram from the arc, and he got that one up in time, but doesn't go in. And so
good quarter.
Boston, with their lead standing at 6 points here at the end of the quarter. They're feeling very confident, shooting the ball with great efficiency and dictating the pace. And we'll be right back after this.
Hello and welcome. First up, folks, let's take a moment to see how things are shaking down in the Rookie of the Year race. And guys, allow me to digress. Anybody care to explain what I saw in the catering area a few minutes ago?
No, Ernie. Shaq started it. I promise you, Ernie. It was not me. I never throw the first chicken.
Yeah, I can't believe you just snitched, Kenny.
Well, I don't care who did it. You're both cleaning it up.
But Ernie, it was Kenny.
Turning back now to that game we've been watching. A positive first half for the Celtics.
They're getting a lot of looks at the rim, and that defense has no answer for it.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. The opponent just doesn't have the guys to stop you.
And that'll do it for halftime. We send you back to Kevin Harlan, who has the second half call.
Second half of basketball upon us. We may be in for an exciting finish based on how close of a game it's been so far. Celtics leading by 6. The wing pairing, it's White and Brown. Vucevic is out there with Jason Tatum. And it's Pritchard in at the point guard. And that's the group for Joe Mazzulla as we begin the second half.
A high IQ player. Vucevic has that sixth sense for when to cut after screening for a teammate.
The Raptors shooting their second and third free throws tonight.
The line for the Raptors. Emmanuel quickly. 2 shots.
Take a break. Take a break. 2 shots.
A free throw drops for Quickly.
And this organization has to be excited because when you watch Emmanuel Quickly, you got to remember, he's still in his mid-20s. So there's a lot of room still for him to grow.
And Quickly drops them both. Now Pritchard. He has yet to score. Vucevic is screen on Quickly. Pritchard passes to Vucevic, and he banks in the layup. And the Celtics lead by 8.
They should continue to get the ball inside. The defense struggling to contain them.
And so Quickly will bring it up for the Raptors. Onside Barrett. Back to Quickly. Here's Ingram. And Boston with the rebound.
Gotta knock down that shot. When you don't, you're letting the defense off the hook.
Vucevic is screen on quickly. Inside. Got a piece of it. Here's Brown. A chance to extend the lead to double digits, but it's no good. Pass to Barrett. Now, here's Quickly. Cranes the three-pointer. Quickly's got 5 now.
Year in and year out, Quickly's three-point shooting has been very consistent.
Quickly against Pritchard. Tatum setting the pick for Pritchard. And he can't answer back. The three-pointer offline. Pass to Quickly. Raptors with a fresh shot clock. Barnes can't get it to go.
Yeah, just 25% to start this half. They're going to have to start getting higher percentage shots.
There's Brown with the 3. Kept alive. Tatum gets it to go inside.
And that's simply Tatum making the hustle play, wanting it more than the opposition.
And timeout called by Darko Rajakovic. Coach is going to talk some things over with the team. Might be seeing something to adjust.
And checking out the numbers for Ingram.
A wonderful string of games he's put together here lately. Putting up about 18 points per, 3 assists, and 3 rebounds. And you look at the numbers he's been putting up, fantastic scoring production from him.
Well, they have leaned on him offensively, and he has provided points pretty much every time they've needed him.
Here's Barrett, and there's the drive.
He's able to get all the way to the rim because he did a great job of taking advantage of that angle.
So it's Boston now, leading by 5. Brown with the screen on Barnes. Outside Tatum over Barnes. Tatum no good.
Come on.
Shot didn't
Come
fall,
on.
but that play worked well to get a good look at the basket.
Well, it just shows you can do everything right and still come away empty-handed.
So, Tim, and I can see it in my mind's eye, you won that three-point contest back in '96. What's the key to success in that event in particular?
Oh, yeah, what a great night. And I think, Kevin, there's a few things. First, I just think you've got to have a short, compact release because then you're not going to rush at the end to make sure you get all 25 balls up. But I also think part of it, for me, I got to shoot first after the warm-up introductions because I was still loose. I didn't have to sit there for 20 or 30 minutes during commercial breaks. I think that helped me win the title that night.
A little strategy. And so the timeout by Joe Mazzulla here. He's going to take a few moments here to check in with his team and regroup. Boston making a switch here. Hauser's checked in. And Toronto also making a switch. Walter's checked in. There's 1:38 left in the third quarter. Right side Tatum. Vucevic is screen on Ingram. Tatum wide open. He fires one.
Oh, finally.
Three-point range. Tatum's got 5 points now this quarter.
His efficiency throughout this game has really been something, and his team has been able to succeed in large part because of it.
Ingram wide open, and again it's Toronto with a 3.
Yeah, that's too good a look to give him from behind the arc.
And here's Tatum. He'll bring it up for Boston. Pick by Vucevic. And Tatum driving. Scored the bucket. He's made 5 so far, shooting a very clean 5 of 7. Toronto, they've gotten 5 of 8 shots to fall for them in the third quarter. A nice 62% from the field. Barnes outside. And it's Barnes slamming it down.
Now, how about Barnes on that one? He really got up.
There's 37 seconds left to play in the third. Left side, Brown. Vucevic setting the pick for Brown. Here's the 3. And Pirtle pulls it down. Pirtle's got 5 rebounds tonight.
Yeah, this quarter has just been a struggle for him offensively.
Here's Walter. He's covered by Pritchard. Near the three-point line, it's Ingram for the lead. And there are the Raptors with another bucket.
And you got to love the big bucket in the paint in this sort of a grind-it-out game.
And at the close of the third quarter, still a close game, and both teams putting up points in a hurry. Toronto ahead. They lead by a bucket. We've got more in store for you right after this. And let's go back to a terrific pass that we're calling tonight our State Farm assist of the game.
Yeah, an easy choice tonight. Look at the precision on this pass. Put it on a platter form.
Yeah, playing for one another. That's the definition of teamwork.
Well, this has been a great contest so far, and I imagine the fourth quarter could have even more action in store for us. On the court for Toronto to start the fourth. The guard spots filled by Quickly and Barrett. Then it's Grady Dick and Murray Boyles in at the 4 slot.
They're scoring boatloads of buckets. It's raining buckets from inside.
Here's Brown. Outside White. And it's Hauser in the corner. Just 2 to shoot. Takes a 3. And it's Toronto with the rebound.
Not quite enough defense that time around. Just lucky he was off.
Pass to Mamu Kalashvili. And that one is hammered home.
Total letdown by the D. Can't leave the bucket unprotected.
Absolutely. And it takes an easy 2 points onto the lead.
And now this offense feels like they can just do whatever they want.
Good on the bucket.
Cutting into that deficit now, well within striking distance.
And you can just see their confidence is growing.
Quickly looking it over. And the call will be against Emmanuel Quickly. That'll be his second foul of the game.
Yeah, really good defensive play to cut him off there and square up.
And so Joe Mazzulla calls for the timeout. He's clearly intent on wanting to lock in and make sure everyone's on the same page. And now Hallie LaForce says something for us from the sideline.
During that last break, I heard Joe Mazzulla as he talked with the team, and he was adamant that they need to tighten up their D. That lack of communication at that end has led to breakdowns, wide open shooters, and easy buckets. He sounded pretty frustrated, guys.
All right, Allie, we thank you for that. Barnes against Tatum. Lets the 3 fly. Boston again missing. Raptors leading by 4. Crosses over, and it's Barnes slamming it down.
Wow, Barnes just slicing through the defense. That display of ball handling was impressive.
Tatum with a screen on Ingram. Brown dishes to Tatum. Tatum sticks the 3 on the D.
And that was the right call. When you need a basket, go to the guys you trust the most.
Yeah, when you're coming down the stretch, you don't want any wasted possessions.
Barrett. Oh, and he feathers one right through. One touch.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
And guys, let's get your take on the scoring breakdown for the Raptors.
The mid-range game has been there for them all game long, and that old school approach still getting it done in this.
And something else I've liked has been their ball movement. Always finding the open guy with a better look. That is team basketball.
Oh, another huge night for Tatum. One of the top scorers in the NBA. Jason beats you in so many different ways.
Raptors leading by 5. Ingram deciding where to go with it. And good that time.
And obviously his momentum from the last game has carried over here tonight.
When someone is rolling like this, just keep feeding him. That's just great coaching.
2 minutes remaining in the game. 2 minutes.
Tatum on the wing. Vucevic a screen on Barnes. Tatum from 3.
No stranger to the big moment. What a play there from Tatum.
1:52 left in the fourth quarter. Ingram fires. Barnes got a hand in to tip it in.
And that's a pure hustle play, getting to the offensive glass for the tip-in.
And that's the kind of quality you see in any strong offensive rebounder, isn't it? Tatum setting the pick for Brown. Lets loose a three. Barnes zips down the rebound.
Well, he wants to shoot his way out of this cold spell, but the struggles continue.
And he doesn't have to do it alone. He's got 4 teammates on the floor.
Celtics trail by 8. Tatum outside. 1:12 left in the fourth quarter of this one. Jacks up a three. Knocks down the three.
And let's give some credit to Tatum. Doesn't crack when the pressure's on. He just seems to embrace the moment.
Ingram driving in.
Wow, he got whacked on that one. Shouldn't be much debate there.
And that hurts as he doesn't get the first one to fall. Trying to focus now on the second. And he ends up making the second, and that increases their lead to 6. And so it's Pritchard who brings the ball up for the Boston Celtics. Vucevic setting the pick for Tatum. And down goes the three.
And he's just living out beyond the arc right now. What a weapon to have on the floor.
And he's keeping the game within striking distance. I don't know where they'd be without his shooting.
Ingram. Off target from outside. This is a huge possession.
And this is where all the hard work pays off. You have to be able to execute under pressure.
Jason Tatum. A three-pointer. Good.
Well, controlling the
Nice.
heart rate in big moments like this is something that coaches talk about, and this guy can do it.
And the timeout called by Darko Rajakovic. Pivotal moment in this game. He's not taking any chances. He'll call time. Ingram against Brown. 16 seconds left in the fourth. Brown against Ingram. Clock at 4.
Oh. Filling the bonus.
He sinks the clutch free throw. So both free throws are good, and it's a 2-point ball game.
Ice in the veins right there. They're one stop away from winning this thing.
And we've got a timeout from Joe Mazzulla. The magnitude at this juncture in the game clearly warranting a timeout. Vucevic is screen on quickly. For the win! Good! He got it!
Down it goes! At the
Nice.
Doesn't get any better than that.
Wow, a highlight reel shot.
And so it's Boston sweeping by with the win. That was a fun night of basketball. Fabulous finish as they continued to wait out until the very last moment to seal it.
And there are so many times when you see these tight games won at home, that advantage of having that crowd behind you oftentimes is the ultimate X factor.
And that'll do it, folks. Alongside Tim Legler, Greg Anthony, and our reporter, Allie LaForce, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for watching, folks. And as we leave you, we give you our player of the game, Jason Tatum.
テンション